So my miraculous inner being diagram of consciousness is profound on so many levels. It explains so many things. There are so many complex, expansive miracles within it. So I just want to explain one of the infinite aspects of my miraculous inner being diagram of consciousness, okay? You ready for this? It's many magics. Are you ready for the magics? Are you ready for the many magics? Okay, many magics coming at you. So we have 4 types of subconscious parts: Moppets, Nightingales, Normals, and Guardians. And this is exploring subconscious parts, again, through brand new language. I created this concept from scratch, okay? So every kind of subconscious part has a superpower. And part of the beauty of healing, transforming, and empowering consciousness from the inside out is gaining the conscious ability to harness the superpowers of subconscious parts. What are their superpowers, you ask? I shall tell you. So, Moppet Parts. Moppet Parts are the ones who are deepest connection, most deeply connected with our visceral sensations, most deeply connected with our unconscious body. Moppet Parts have an extraordinary superpower of joy and living in the full power of the now and ecstatic appreciation. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're hiking out in the woodsies like this, okay? So you're hiking, and instead of noticing at the trees, oh my goodness, they're so big and ginormous and expansive and marvelous, and instead of noticing the greenery, oh my goodness, look at how green and gorgeous it is, and instead of noticing all the wildlife, oh my goodness, look, it's a squirrel, it's a chipmunk, it's a gorgeous giant butterfly in my face. Instead of being able to enjoy things, you're caught up in your head. You're worried about how you're going to pay the bills. You're worried about what you're going to do later. You're worried about what if you get hungry while you're hiking. You're worried about, what if someone's calling you and they can't reach you, or what if, you're with a friend and your friend's not having a good time, or like whatever it is, okay? So in a state like that, when you're experiencing things like that, you can tap into the superpowers of Moppet Parts, because Moppet Parts are what create those moments. Oh my goodness, look at the dynamic, glorious, infinite, expansive wonders of every plant. Look at how big and blue the sky is. The ability to experience that level of joy and profound presence comes from Moppet Parts of consciousness. And so when we heal, transform, and empower our consciousness from the inside out, we gain access to consciously tap into the superpowers of our subconscious parts. And the superpower of Moppet Parts of consciousness is the ability to experience ecstatic joy. Ecstatic joy. The ability to just be in nature and just be like, whoa! Comes from the Moppet Parts of consciousness. The ability to enjoy feeling. When you're listening to a song, are you like, and let your heart be your guide? Or are you, let your heart lead the way? How are you enjoying music? How are you enjoying yourself? The superpower of Moppets is enjoyment in a way that you can feel joy in your body, in your freaking body. The cells in your body start dancing in new dynamic ways. That's the superpower of Moppet Parts. Experiencing ecstatic joy. When you listen to music, you're fully in it. You're fully submersed in the experience. When you're out in nature, you're fully in it. You're fully submersed in the experience in a way where you enjoy your own being. So that's the superpower of Moppet Parts. I love the superpowers of my parts. They're so amazing. Subconscious parts are so cool. So cool. So, Nightingale Parts. What is their superpower? Do I dare to share? Do I dare? Do I dare to share? Nightingale Parts have a really incredible superpower of giving unconditional love. Giving unconditional love. And this is such a miraculous healing superpower, because when nightingales are liberated into the fullness of all that they are, they're automatically pouring love inside. You're automatically just living in a swirling swell of nonstop compliments, because your nightingale parts are just showering you with unconditional love, because that's who they are. That's who they truly are. That's who they truly are. And so nightingale parts are going to be, you wake up in the morning and you'll have these thoughts of, God, I love myself so much. I deserve a great day, and I'm so proud of who I am, and I appreciate everything that I am, and I love my smile, and I love my laugh, and I love the way that I see the world, and I'm so grateful for all that I am, and I am awesome, and I'm so excited to wake up to my awesomeness. Like, and not in an egoic, like, I'm awesome, but in like a, oh man, I really appreciate myself kind of a way. That's the superpower of Nightingale Parts. And the awesome part about that is when we pour love into ourselves through harnessing the superpower of Nightingale Parts, then love for others naturally overflows. But when we try to give love to other people when we haven't given it to ourselves, it's going to be limited, meaning it'll eventually run out. It'll be conditional. It won't always be there no matter what's happening. And we will not feel great in the process because we're giving more love to other people than we're giving to ourselves. So it'll be limited, it'll be conditional, and it won't really feel great all of the time. But when our Nightingale Parts are liberated into the fullness of all that they are, their superpowers unleashed. And then they're just pouring self-love inside. And then from this place of overflow, unconditional love automatically pours out to other people. So that's a really great place to be. That's a really beautiful place to be. Because then those moments of like resentment don't happen. Like, have you ever had that happen where someone needs something or whatever and you're just like, I have nothing left to give. Like, this person's driving me nuts. I have nothing in me left to give. That's because nightingales haven't been liberated into the fullness of all that they are, and their superpowers haven't been tapped into. And so when there's just an overflow of love, all of life gets more beautiful. There's a lot more peace. There's a lot more relaxation. There's a lot more ease. There's a lot more gentleness. There's a lot more kindness. There's a lot more appreciation. And it's great because it's coming from the inside out. It's not, I appreciate other people, so I'll be patient with them. No, it's I appreciate myself and I'm patient with me. And because of that, I naturally have patience and appreciation with other people. It's really powerful. Okay. Moving onwards. Oh, superpowers and parts. This is the best topic in the freaking world. Best topic in the freaking world. Dancing on a mountaintop. Dancing on a mountaintop. Okay. Superpowers of parts. We've talked about Moppets. We've talked about nightingales. Oh, and if you guys want to liberate your subconscious parts, check out my Restoring Consciousness Toolkit. Or email me to schedule your consciousness consulting call, because you have oodles and what's the word that goes with oodles? You have infinite power already inside of you through the miraculous expanse of your infinite energy. You already have infinite power. That is already the truth of your being. You are already worthy. You are already enough. And so now all you need to do is know how to harness your power and how to harness your enoughness. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, I'm enough and I have power. This is so much better than the place I was in where I didn't feel like I was enough and I didn't have any power. Trust me, it's a lot better place to be. I promise. I promise. So if you're ever looking for that opportunity to reclaim your power and cultivate deeper self-love, befriend the miraculous consciousness that carries you so that life itself can transform, because life experience comes from consciousness. So if there's anything in life, a relationship, a mental health battle, a dream chasing thing, you're trying to harness your dreams and you keep getting blocked, you keep getting stuck, or something's going on in your health and you keep hitting the anxiety, you keep hitting the depression, it just feels like it never ends and there's no hope and you don't know what else to do about it. Or if there's something going on relationally and you're like, man, I love this person, but there's just all this stuff and I don't even know. All the stuff is coming from consciousness. And so when we heal, transform, and empower our consciousness, we have so much more power in our life experience, because experience particulars are coming from consciousness. So I really encourage you, harness my services and products. They are transformatively powerful. And I know that. How do I know that? Because I was going through the deepest depths of darkness imaginable. The deepest depths of darkness you could ever possibly fathom in the miraculous expanse of your imagination. And I'm here today thriving. Completely 100% from healing myself through these concepts I'm sharing with you. So infinite power to transform anything and everything. All the things I just described are things that I've transformed through this content, through these concepts. Relationships, dream chasing abilities, and every type of mental health battle in the freaking book I transformed in just a couple years through these concepts. So infinite power. I'm living proof of that. And I would be honored to share sacred healing wisdom with you along your healing journey, because you really deserve a beautiful life. And I would be so honored to be a part of helping you get there. I'd be so honored. So you can check out my website for more information about my services. I offer consciousness consulting services, which basically just means getting together on a call, talking about your healing journey. And then I help provide insights, tools, resources, and empowerment, clarity, and direction so that you can understand yourself better, you can love yourself deeper, you can accept yourself where you are, and you can embrace the next steps on your healing journey with renewed clarity about what that looks like, where to go, why, and how. And I always meet you where you're at, so no matter what you're going through, I can be right there with you. I can be right there with you, soul friend. So please do check out my website, or you can email me for more information. Nature be crawling on me. Or email me for more information, or if you want to book your call, process through your phobias. Or order my Restoring Consciousness Toolkit or any of my other amazing, magical, transformatively healing products. Okay, back to the magic. Back to the magic. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. God, I crack myself up. I never used to enjoy my own company to this degree. Not to this degree. Transform consciousness, my goodness, every day is magic. Okay, so, superpowers of parts. We talked about Moppets, we talked about Nightingales. Normal parts of consciousness are the subconscious parts that exist closest to the conscious awareness. And so in my diagram, there's a whole drawing and everything. There's a whole actual physical visual diagram of my diagram of consciousness. But in it, it shows that normal parts of consciousness are closest to the conscious awareness. Moppet parts are farthest, and then Nightingales and Guardians are in between. So normal parts are closest to the conscious awareness, and they are observers of love. So being observant is actually one of their giftings. And so harnessing the superpowers of normal parts helps us in our conscious mind. Other superpowers of parts help us more in our giant red ants. Where am I? What am I? How are you getting on me? How are you getting on me? How is this? What? Giant red ants falling from the sky suddenly? IDK, man. Anyways, I'll go stand by this super gorgeous giant tree. Hi, tree. Photobomb me, tree. Photobomb me. Photobomb me good. Okay, so normal parts of consciousness, their superpower is to observe without judgment. And so when their ability is harnessed, we can be a walking meditation. Meditation is practicing active presence with our consciousness and practicing observing things and letting go. So all the thoughts that bombard us, we practice observing them and letting them go so that our identity and our thoughts and feelings and stuff are not the same thing, and we have more power to move through experience. That's one description of meditation anyway. Infinite ways of perceiving everything. And I know that because of the superpower of my normal part of consciousness. Normal parts of consciousness help to observe without formulating conclusions. And so if I, let's say, look at my bank account and there's $0 in it, the consciousness, generally, automated programs might be like, oh my God, I'm broke. What am I going to do? Let's panic. Let's brainstorm. Let's go get a new job. It's just one example. But when the normal part's superpower is harnessed, you can notice anything and everything and not form any conclusions, which means there's no judgment, there's no fear, there's no stories, there's no automated perspectives. There's always space to choose a response. There's always space to choose a perspective. And there's always space to observe multiple options of perspectives. And so maybe I or you or whoever, as this example, looks at the bank account and sees $0 and just takes a deep breath and says, okay. The end. No fear, no stress, no anxiety, no panic, no worry, no stories. Infinite examples, of course, but we're noticing stuff all throughout of our days. And so with the superpower of the neural part, we can actually release all judgments, all fears, all stories, all worries, all automated responses, because we grow this ability to be an objective observer and conscious responder. And that is thanks to the superpower of neural parts. Can you imagine having a superpower where you could like be in any situation and just notice it without reacting? Like, I'm being chased by a bear. I respect that. I'm gonna run, but I'm not gonna panic. Like, can you imagine that kind of a superpower where nothing gets to you, nothing phases you, nothing rattles you, nothing shakes you, and you always have room to choose your perspective and choose your response? Like, can you imagine that kind of power? No matter what comes up, no matter what is said to you, no matter how people treat you, no matter what feelings arise, no matter what thoughts arise, you have this superpower. Dang, these red ants, where are you coming from? You have this superpower to be in full, I don't even want to say control, because power is a stronger word to me than control. You have this full ability to stand unconditionally in your power. And this is really handy too for processing memories. It's just one of infinite examples. With the superpower of neural parts, you can observe these memories that might be intense coming up inside of you, and you'll have this ability of consciousness to notice them. And just notice them, and that's it. You don't become them, you don't relive them, you don't react to them, you don't over-identify with them, you don't anything. You're able to just notice them there. And you're here as an objective observer and conscious responder, and that stuff is just swirling around you and it can't touch you anymore. So that's the superpower of neural parts. Pretty freaking awesome superpower if you ask me. Pretty nifty stuff, man. Pretty nifty stuff. Okay, so superpower of guardians, last but certainly not least. And by the way, another thing about my diagram of consciousness is it talks about the order in which parts develop, and that's the order I'm going in. Moppets, then nightingales, then normals, and then guardians, according to a lot of neuroscience research regarding early childhood development that I've done and incorporated into my Miraculous interviewing diagram of consciousness. So that's the order I'm going in here. So last but certainly not least, guardian parts of consciousness. Guardian parts are incredible warriors. They are protectors of love. And so guardian parts, the superpower is to create energetic boundaries. That's the superpower of guardian parts. The superpower of guardian parts is to create energetic boundaries. What does that mean? What does that look like? Why does it matter? So let's say that you have a friend. It's just one example. And this friend is someone you care about, but they're not a very good friend. They take advantage of you and they make really bad choices and then try to dump all their crap on you, and they never take responsibility for what they're going through, and they're just not really a positive person to be around, and they're never there for you, and yet they always expect you to be there for them. Again, this is just one example. Guardian parts are going to be the ones who help you establish boundaries. And so even though all your other parts might be like, okay, we need to be there, we need to give love, we need to be there, we need to have attachments to them, we need to this, your guardian part will have this superpower of saying, I am protecting the love of my heart, I deserve better, and I refuse to allow for this. But it's awesome because it's going to be in such a pure, loving way. It's going to be laying down a respectful boundary of, hey, this friendship isn't working, I need more respect, you're not offering that, so I need to just end this here and now. I wish you the best. That superpower comes from guardian parts. Other parts of consciousness have their superpowers, but they are all very intimately connected with attachments and approaching. At the base of our consciousness are implicit procedural approach avoidance body memories, and these affect our attachments and our decision making and all kinds of things from behind the scenes of consciousness. And in the approach avoidance aspect of these memories, all the other parts of consciousness are connected with approach. And so even if there's someone who's unhealthy, even if there's a situation that's unhealthy, even if there's a friendship that's not being beneficial, even if whatever, other parts would be more inclined to approach, no matter if that's the right choice or not, or the best for, in your best interest or not. Guardian parts are the only parts of consciousness who are connected with avoidance. And so in the approach avoidance of all of our decision making and perceptual awareness and attachments and all these things, guardian parts are the only ones with the superpower of creating energetic boundaries, because all other parts will approach no matter what. And so guardian parts play this really important role of protecting the safe haven of your heart. You have to make sure you're not letting in energies into your life that can jeopardize your well-being. And this comes in handy in like other ways too. So let's say I'm walking through a space, you know, in public or through my home or whatever, where there's other people having negative conversations, talking about things that might trigger me, or talking about things that are just negative or unpleasant or just overall icky vibes or whatever. Just something I don't want to be around. Guardian parts will have the superpower to block out that energy. Guardian parts will have the superpower to create this miraculous boundary of energy so that that stuff cannot touch the consciousness having the experience inside of the brain and body you live in. So guardian parts have the energetic superpower, or the superpower of creating energetic boundaries to protect your consciousness from energies that might jeopardize your well-being or not have the best impact on your experience immediately or long term. So subconscious parts all have superpowers. And part of the miracle of healing consciousness from the inside out is that you gain conscious ability to tap into these superpowers. And what do I mean by conscious? So if you're trying to focus and get work done, you don't want to be fully submersed in the power of the now, experiencing ecstatic joy and beauty. You want to be disciplined in here and using your mind, right? And so you might not want to tap into the superpower of Moppet Parts during a specific time, right? If, you know, for guardian parts, you don't want to have energetic walls up all the time. You don't want to always be in this bubble and not ever let anyone in. And so having the conscious ability to harness these superpowers means you get to choose when these superpowers are being used and how. That's part of the magic. You connect these three layers of your consciousness, your conscious mind, your subconscious realms, and your unconscious body. You connect these three layers by healing, transforming, and empowering your consciousness from the inside out, by lovingly being a friend and reclaiming your personal power. Them red ants, though. You gain this ability to consciously harness the superpowers of subconscious parts. It's really, really profound. Imagine just being able to choose to experience joy. I'm tapping into the Moppet Parts now. I get to feel full-body joy. I'm tapping into my Nightingale Parts now. I get to feel full unconditional love. I'm tapping into my normal parts. I get to be an objective observer so that nothing can ever have power, and I get to choose my response and perspective always through everything and anything. I'm tapping into the superpower of guardian parts. I got energetic boundaries. Nothing can touch me. No other energies get to invade my space. Imagine having that power. And imagine how life overall could benefit. Ponder. Play with me. Play with me. I wonder what that would feel like. That would look pretty good, because then I'm in that situation, I'm feeling that, and I could respond in this way, and then it would be a lot better. So I invite you, soul friends, make a decision. Do you want superpowers in your consciousness? Yes or no? It's not a trick question. It's not a complicated question. You don't even need to answer in a full sentence. Do you want superpowers in your consciousness? Yes or no? I'll brush off the answer for me. Do you want superpowers in your consciousness? I can't hear you. Say it a little louder. Say it a little more confidently. Say it like you mean it. Do you want superpowers in your consciousness? Yes or no? Say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it. Yes? Awesome. Good. You're on the right track. Let your intention be, I intend to reclaim power in my consciousness. I intend to be a friend to my consciousness. My intention is to practice harnessing the superpowers of my subconsciousness. Let your intention be your guide. Let your heart lead you home. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. How are you going to spend it? How are you going to treat yourself? How are you going to show up for yourself? How are you going to harness your power? What are you going to do? What's one thing you can do every day for the next week to love yourself deeper? And if you don't know, then please message me, email me. Let's get together on a consciousness consultant call, because you have a lot of power, and you got a lot of worthiness, and you got a lot of potential, and you deserve love. So it's time to like tap into all this magic. It's time. It's time. No more waiting, no more sitting on the fence. Be your own hero. Be your own hero. Be your own hero. Love yourself. Dare to claim your power. I love you. I believe in you. The superpower of my parts believes in the superpower of your parts. The best is yet to come, and we've only just begun, soul friends. This healing journey invites us all. Please explore my links below. Give this video a little like, hit subscribe, do all the little magical thingies that make me happy and stuff like that. Ooh, it's a little bug. Ooh, that's a pretty bug. It's a ladybug. It's a ladybug. And yeah, explore my links and email me. Let's get together. Let's connect in consciousness consultant calls. Or if you want to order any of my healing journey products, I'd love to share. These things are crazy powerful. Crazy powerful. I love you. I believe in you. Thanks for being here. I will see you next time, soul friends.